down. Let's make it our business. A climate podcast that's about innovators, change makers, and entrepreneurs who are taking actions, creating solutions, and inspiring many. This podcast is supported by US Department of State, created by BBC Media Action, India.
How many outfits do you have in your wardrobe?
I think about 50 to 70 if I count the Indian and Western and old and new outfits.
30, 35 around.
Oh well, I have 3 wardrobes full. That many clothes I have.
I think around 50. More than 50.
How often do you repeat your clothes?
Once in 15 days.
I repeat my clothes very often, but whenever my wife sees me repeating a clothes, then she always nudges me to basically change it.
I think often.
Very often. I like to change the combinations that I'm wearing. So different pants with different shirts and all of that. So I repeat my clothes very often.
Hello again, this is Sayema, your friend and host on yet another episode of Cool It Down. What you just heard are some voices that could well have been some of ours too. And that's why this episode is so important. Because what's in our wardrobes and how we use them are closely related to the climate outside. To make the connect easy to see and to see what positive actions we all can take, we have with us Shruti Singh from Fashion Revolution India and Bhavini Parikh, the name and face behind Bunko Junko. Welcome to Cool It Down, Shruti. There are no one-size-fits-all solutions to climate change, but each one of us can tailor our lifestyles and our lives to make it all add up. And to start the revolution, here is Shruti. Fashion Revolution India challenge, confront, and combat brands and organizations that value profit over people. And through their campaign, they promote and educate all forms of ethical and conscious fashion. Welcome, Shruti. I think you are just in time.
Thanks, Sayema. Thank you for spotlighting the importance of sustainable fashion in mitigating climate crisis.
I'll straight away start with a very basic question, Shruti. If fashion is all about looking good, how does it make our planet look not so good, especially with the changing climate? Basically, what is the link between fashion and climate change?
Fashion is an incredibly powerful way to express yourself, like you said. It's how we show up in the world. It's how we connect with others. It is about looking good. It's about feeling good as well. We love fashion, but we believe that it should not come at the cost of planet or the people who make our clothes. The fashion industry is the second largest polluter in the world, just after the oil industry. And with the rise of fast fashion and now ultra fast fashion, clothes are being produced at an accelerated rate, with new styles being dropped every day. We've gone from 4 seasons of clothes to 52 seasons every week. And now some brands are dropping 20,000 styles every single day. So we are living in a culture of disposable fashion where outfit of the day or one-time wear is the norm. And why is that a problem? It's because it is estimated that 100 billion clothes are produced every year. And we're a population of 8 billion. The production of clothing consumes a significant quantity of natural resources and generates greenhouse gases and contributes to global warming. So we are producing more clothes than we need. We're using them for fewer times and then throwing them away. It's a classic take, make, dispose model. Every garment uses Earth's resources for creation. If you look at a garment which is made out of polyester, it comes from fossil fuels, which we know are responsible for heating up our planet. They release microplastics when they're washed, leading to pollution in our water bodies and oceans. And now microplastics have also been found in our bloodstreams and in stardust, and they're detrimental to our health.
Right.
So once these garments are thrown away, they also release harmful gases on decomposing in a landfill. If a garment is made from cotton, they come from cotton fields, and cotton is a highly water-intensive crop, and conventionally growing cotton uses a lot of pesticides. And if a garment is made out of viscose, it comes from trees, and every year 3.1 million trees are cut down to fulfill our viscose needs. And the deforestation not only impacts the planet's capacity to absorb the carbon dioxide, but also destroys habitats, leading to loss of biodiversity. So I think the current practices of fashion industry are not sustainable, and we are also responsible for a lot of wastewater used. 20% of the global wastewater comes from fabric dyeing and treatment, and every second a truckload of garment is thrown into landfill. And some of them are not even worn once. They have their original tags intact. So all of this, the current fashion and textiles industry, the practices in it are putting an increasing pressure on the planetary boundaries, the physical limits the planet can take. And the fashion industry needs to cut down its emissions by 50% so that we do not go over the 1.5-degree pathway as mentioned in the Paris Agreement. So we need to relook at the way we produce and consume fashion to make sure that our choices make us look good and save the planet at the same time.
Shruti, I must say that, lots of listeners out there who've been sporting different looks in a day using hashtags OOTD, their hearts must be sinking listening to this conversation because clearly, changing your clothes 4 times a day is not a statement anymore. My second question to you, Shruti, is an end user of fashion products buys what the manufacturer offers. He or she would always say, well, I'm buying because, it's there in the market. How can both help each other make the right choices in supply and demand?
I think if you look at UN Sustainable Development Goal 12, it also speaks about responsible production and consumption. Uh, that's why I feel that both manufacturers, brands, and the end users play a crucial role in making sustainable choices in the fashion industry and changing how the future of fashion would look like. Because demand informs what brand create and supply influences what people end up buying. So brands and manufacturers, it's really important to look at the decisions they make about materials, about production processes, the volumes of clothes they are making, how those clothes are sold. Are they using the dead stock? How are they managing the dead stock? And brands often claim that, like you said, they produce what is in demand. But that creates a classic chicken and egg scenario. What comes first? So while we may feel like individual consumers lack the power to dictate demand, evidence actually shows that brands do listen to what consumers want and what their preferences are. So, for example, a sustainability officer at a really big brand once shared that increased consumer awareness led to a surge in requests for recycled polyester instead of virgin polyester. So people would walk in the stores and say, why is this polyester? Why is it not recycled polyester? This global trend around the globe, they were hearing this feedback from all of their stores, and that led to them actually changing their entire polyester range to 100% polyester. Now, this is not me advocating for polyester. This is me saying that consumers do have the power to drive better practices at towards brands, and they should use that power and their voice. Consumers can be intentional about their purchases. They can research brands. They can support sustainable practices. They can adopt habits such as buying fewer clothes but higher quality items, choosing second-hand clothing. They can also encourage brands to start take-back programs. Brands, on the other hand, I think should be more transparent. They should avoid greenwashing about their supply chain because consumers do care. And when consumers look at your practices, they look at what you are selling and what you're saying that you're selling, they want there to be no gap in between what you say and what is sold to them. And I think this approach is not just great for the planet, but it actually makes good business sense because secondhand retail, of course, is expected to grow faster than first-time retail.
Shruti, this is very interesting and it's so heartening to also know that, we are at that stage where we really need to redefine a whole lot of terms that we use very loosely in the day. What is style? What is fashion? What is, the cool way of dressing up? I think the future or even the present actually commands that we redefine all these phrases in our head. I'd like to ask that at times sustainable options are used to create a market of products that are otherwise not suitable or optimal in their function. But if the design and functionality are not as strong, it only ends up adding to the waste and a negative climate impact, as you were also talking about. And this leads to a negative sentiment of the product or service. How can form and function together offer more sustainable choices?
I think that's a really insightful question. It's true that if sustainable products do not meet functional or design expectations or usage, they can end up being discarded, which is counterproductive to sustainability goals. Designing sustainability or designing products sustainably, I think, starts with the right mindset. So it means that at the stage of ideation, what materials are being used, what garments, what would the garment's life be, how would it be washed, how durable it is, how would it be recycled, would it decompose in your backyard? So material sciences are actually advancing every day to create next gen materials that will meet this criteria and address form and function both. Secondly, I want to say sustainability is very much a practice as much as it's the product itself. So it extends beyond the products we buy. It includes how we approach fashion consumption as a whole. So many of us have wardrobes full of clothes that are barely worn. So studies show that only about 20% of the clothes are used regularly. Others are just sitting at the back of our wardrobes.
Right.
So considering options like resale, rentals, swapping clothes, mending the clothes that need to be mended, restyling those clothes can keep those garments in circulation longer and reduce the need for new clothing. That means reducing the pressure on the natural resources on earth. And to be honest, sustainability is not a new concept to India. We have shared clothes with our siblings, our aunts, our mothers. They would share saris, they would share clothes, they would know what's in each other's wardrobe. And clothes would be made out of durable materials. They are woven and embroidered with love. If you look at our indigenous craft practices, we use natural dyes to add color to clothes. Artisans that live closer to natural ecosystems would know how much to take from nature and that the environment needs rest to regenerate and replenish itself. And following these principles, I feel today many designers and entrepreneurs are leading the way in sustainable fashion. They focus on high quality materials, natural dyes. They consider the entire lifestyle of the products. And there are so many entrepreneurs that have launched businesses that make sustainability very accessible to consumers, offering services like rentals, swaps, mending, and recycling.
I mean, I have to say, Shruti, that for a very, very long time, I am such a big advocate of wardrobe swapping. I wish somebody, would swap her wardrobe with me and I get like a 6-month supply of clothes, which she has worn and then I would worn and then, somebody else would worn. We will get the new styles and new, fashion trends and also kind of help climate. That actually brings me to the question I've been really wanting to ask about what you actually do. You lead Fashion Revolution in India. Can you tell us what the organization does and how does it offer the end user something that leads to a positive climate action?
So Fashion Revolution is a global not-for-profit organization that started 10 years ago. It advocates for systemic changes in the fashion industry. We work towards an industry that is safe, transparent, and upholds responsible business practices. We are the largest citizen-driven fashion sustainability movement in the world. We have chapters in over 75 countries. And our efforts include advocacy campaigns to raise consumer awareness, research and policy work to support data collection and create actionable roadmaps for the industries, and youth-focused education to equip future designers with tools and frameworks for integrating sustainable fashion practices into their work. So Fashion Revolution's first campaign was Who Made My Clothes? And that simple question was actually a response to Rana Plaza disaster in Dhaka, where in 2013, over 1,100 garment workers, mostly women, lost their lives when the factory collapsed on them.
Mm-hmm.
This tragedy, which at that time was the fourth largest industrial disaster, was preventable because there were visible cracks on the building which had been ignored, and the workers were coerced into working despite their concerns. So this campaign emerged as the urgent need for accountability, highlighting that no one should die for fashion. And only when the clothing tags were recovered from the rubble, it revealed which brands were actually producing in that factory, raising questions on whether these brands even knew the conditions in which the clothes were being produced. So Who Made My Clothes mobilized citizens to tag their favorite brands on social media, demand transparency, and that actually got a response of millions of people joining the movement, but also got a response from brands themselves who shared with the hashtag I Made Your Clothes. They shared stories of workers, of artisans, of people working in their supply chains, and they shared about the production processes. Our second campaign was What's in My Clothes, that focused on materials and processes used in garment production. We have another campaign called Loved Clothes Last that asks us to examine our relationship with clothes. We host events where people come together to mend their clothes. We host clothing swaps, and most importantly, we host important dialogues with the industry to raise awareness about all things sustainable fashion. Our latest report, Craft in the Age of Climate Crisis, looks at the interplay between climate crisis and craft ecosystem. It highlights that climate crisis poses a significant threat to the rich heritage of crafts and the livelihoods of craftspeople in India as well as globally. So, unpredictable weather patterns, extreme temperatures, rainfall, which is erratic, and heat waves that we have been experiencing, and we've been, our news has been flooded with such headlines. They do disrupt production cycles, they disrupt the availability of natural resources such as cotton, silk, natural dyes. And craftspeople are at the front line of climate crisis, and they face increased vulnerability as their livelihoods depend heavily on these natural resources. So, without timely intervention, many such practices are at risk of becoming extinct. So, we advocate for better practices on all fronts and all parts of the supply chain. And we work at the junction of consumers, with educators, with industry to really improve the systems and do that as fast as possible.
I must say that's a lot of extensive and intensive work that you have undertaken, Shruti. And I'd also like to ask you: do you see this connection of this world being a more visible world via social media, and every smartphone has a camera, and you have pictures and videos of every moment, and that pushes you to be in a different, different garment all the time, different look all the time. This pressure of talking to a person 5 times a day on social media in a different look altogether has also put a lot of pressure on clothing. Maybe we could have managed with 1/4 of the wardrobe that we have, but the presence of social media and the excessive usage of video, you've got to be present there. Do you think that has a role to play? And what would you tell a person who really wants to now stick to this vow of not buying a whole lot of clothes, but will be targeted by people on social media for saying, hey, do you only have a pair of clothes? Why do you always come in this?
I think it's important to examine again how we have a relationship with our clothes. Clothes do inform, like I said, how we show up in this world. And there is an extended pressure because of social media, because, like you said, everyone wants to be in a different look. Every image has to be perfect. So there is a pressure not just with respect to the clothes, but also on mental well-being of people, because they have to be comfortable in who they are. And I think there is a way. I'm not saying you should compromise on your fashion needs, but there is a way to look good without buying something new all the time. So it's about discovering those ways of, and creative ways of, like I said, restyling, swapping with your friends, going and finding like great garments in secondhand garment stores. And I think all of that is really catching on. So when Gen Z is a digital native generation, they are also the ones that have championed the secondhand movement. That gives me a lot of hope. And with the added pressure from social media brings also voices of people where there's a section that influences people to buy more, there is also a section that raises awareness of why they shouldn't buy new garments again and again, and how to really champion the sustainability movement. And I recognize that every decision we make impacts the world and signals the kind of future we want. I love fashion. And I feel like after I've gotten into this field, my approach to consuming has changed. I do buy very few new garments every year, which means I find really creative ways to refresh my wardrobe. I know what my friends have. I look at their social media and say, hey, can I borrow that garment for XYZ event? Or can I love your earrings? Can I wear them for an event and send it back to you? So I borrow regularly from my friends and family. I think that there is a joy in discovering the items and swapping. There are stories to swap as well of, where you worn your garment. There are stories of resale and relove that are circulating. And I'm a really proud outfit repeater. I think that itself also makes a statement, but I style them differently every time. And I think you have to share your thoughts in various mediums, whether it's an Instagram story, on an article. So I think while influencers often do get the credit for sparking that change, I believe that everyone has their own circle of influence and should share their stories and best practices with those around them. And be curious, keep that curiosity alive. So when you are seeking something new, read the label to understand where the clothes come from, what materials are they made out of. Do hold your brands accountable, because you do have the power to create the change, and just show Mother Earth that you care. So that's what I would say.
Shruti, what are the new hashtags that you've thought of? I've already thought of one hashtag, OR, outfit repeater. What more?
Proud outfit repeater.
Right. Very, very interesting. I think that's the way to go. Thank you so much, Shruti. Something as routine as slipping into a garment can mean so much for the environment. Is surely something we'll all wear close to our hearts now, and hopefully make better choices when we think of going after what's in fashion. Also want to add that when I ask my friend for that outfit, to lend me that outfit for a day, that friend should not go away. But there is always a Shruti. Thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Thank you, Sayema.
Our next guest for today is someone who has woven in and out of many things before creating a perfect mosaic, where her passion for sustainability and her love for design all combine to form a single entity with such a lyrical name, Bunko Junko. Thank you so much, Bhavini, and it's such a pleasure to have you on this podcast. The moment I read Bunko Junko, I was like, the name is so mesmerizing, and I really wanted to understand the person behind it, the idea behind it. What is your enterprise all about? How did it all begin? From being a textile artist to a fashion designer to an entrepreneur, such a successful business. You were recently awarded as the Biz Women of the Year? Something like that, right?
Yes, disruptor women.
Bizruptor, yeah. Right. So tell us all about this.
Yes. So, hi, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And let me start with how I came up with the Bunko Junko name. There is a big story behind that, but in the short, I will tell you it is really very near to my heart and near to me. Bunko means the art decoration creation in Japanese, and Junko derives from the junk. So, reflecting our missions to transform what is often considered waste into something beautiful and valuable. Fashion means to make a human beautiful, actually making the earth ugly. Bunko Junko is here to change that. My journey, let me start with my journey. My journey begins as I'm in a fashion industry for more than 34 years, and my journey begins from 1990s with the textile artist, fashion designer. And over the time, I became increasingly aware of the waste and environmental impact. We all know, right? Textile industry is the highest polluting in the second most highest polluting in the world after the aviation. So, with the fashion industry, this awareness drove me to start the Bunko Junko. Bunko Junko is focusing on the upcycling of the textile waste to create the unique fashion pieces while promoting the environmental sustainability and women empowerment. We have two pillars: environmental sustainability and the women empowerment. Bunko Junko revolutionizes the fashion industry through the innovative upcycling textile waste. Our mission is to reduce environmental impact and promote social equity by transforming the discarded fabric into the high quality sustainable fashion. And we are the proud to be first upcycle manufacturer registered by the Textile Ministry, Government of India. The milestones highlights our commitment to the circularity and sustainable practices in the fashion
Fantastic.
industry. We were awarded we received so many awards. Just now, as you said, Bizruptor by the Reliance Foundation. Before that, we received the climate catalyzers by the IKEA Foundation, LNP and Seed. So like there is a long list, but yeah, in short. Thank you so much.
And Bhavani, I was checking out, the products at Bunko Junko, and they so live up to the name. I mean, whenever you're saying this Bunko Junko, it's such a nice, lively, colorful thing. And Bhavani, with your due permission, we would love to take a look inside the closet of a professional who makes fashion sustainable. So, what is the longest you hold on to your garments, and what's your chosen fabric? If you could just share that, how you are actually adopting all of this in your personal life.
Right. You see this garment also. I am wearing it from means more than 4 5 years. So, and I won't believe not to repeat. I believe in repeating because I love the garments, and then why not to repeat, right? So I believe in the longevity of the fashions, and so I hold my garments for a years. If you can check my wardrobe, some pieces my wardrobes are over decade old. I have beautiful saris, dresses, and everything. So my favorite fabrics to upcycles are denim, cottons, mixed fabrics, because we know the polyester and we work on all types of the garments, right? Because polyester can't decompose it very fast in the landfills, and it creates a lots of the pollutions, methane gas emission, and so many. So yes, so we convert the pre-consumer textile and my favorite garments are blazers, jackets. That is upcycle, especially from the Bunko Junko, and it is a timeless. It is a perfect candidate for the upcycling. And wherever I go, everyone loves my blazers and jackets. So I believe in that. Yeah, you can wear it multiple times the garments and create your own identity.
As we understand it, your work is about upcycling fabric waste to reduce carbon emissions. But it is equally about helping over 5,000 women find employment opportunities. How do the two seemingly distant causes come together in your work?
So from early days only, I used to work with the women's from the grassroots level. Women's today, their children are pilot, engineer, CA, and all that thing. So this inspires me always and help me. Whatever I do, I want to do with them. Without them, I can't do anything. That is my belief. I love to work with them. I want them to be independent because one day I was looking for independency. I want to do something in my life, but I didn't have the opportunity. So this always inspires me to support these women. And like this, so Bunko Junko environmental challenges and enhancing the social equity and the cultural preservations. The benefits are, as we said, it is reduces the carbon emissions and decreases and also promoting the sustainable livelihood. So in Bunko Junko, we believe in the environmental sustainability and social empowerment. Both are the two sides of the coins, right?
Right.
And of course, we work with the rescue home, shelter home, juvenile center all over the India level. We have trained the women's in upcycling the textile waste and we have reduced the tons of the textile waste diverted from the landfill. In the last week only, we have utilized 1 ton of the textile and converted it into the denim bags for the events like this. So if this reduces lots of the carbon emissions also.
Very interesting, Bhavani.
So this goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's the beautiful part of it. While you're just talking about, the clothing and the sustainable part of it, we cannot overlook one of the massive things that you're doing about women empowerment. Surely you have carved a unique space from the fashion industry, spinning it in ways that makes fashion sustainable. It has a very positive climate impact. Is there a blueprint, Bhavani, that others could build on to come up with ideas and means to explore other aspects of it?
Yeah, so if we talk about the sustainable business or a fashion in sustainable fashions, there is a key to start with a genuine commitment to the sustainability and social impact. Entrepreneurs should focus on sourcing a sustainable materials, choose the material that are eco-friendly and upcycle, and seek out the suppliers who prioritize the sustainable practices. Adopting eco-friendly productions method, like implementing the production process, reducing waste and energy consumptions. Like nowadays, there is a solar energy, water purifications, and all that things. So reusing the waters and all that things is one should take care. Then creating the products. Then creating the products, think of the design that should be a long time. It is not the fast fashion. It has then also have the long life cycle, focusing on the longevity. Design the products that has a long life cycle and can be repaired, repurposed, reused, like that. Nowadays the swap is also in fashion. So these all things to be, when you design the product, you should take care of everything. And when you are talking about the textile circularity and everything, before the recycling, upcycling comes, and then after the upcycling, which cannot be upcycled, or then don't then it should be the go to the recycling, right? So it has to be the upcycling should be more priority, before sending it to the landfill. Now the other point is collaborating with the local communities, stakeholders, and promoting the fair employment and preserving the traditional craftsmanship. As I told you, we do in our product also, we do the patchwork and all that thing. So it is not just now started, right? It is a years long. Our mother and everyone used to do all this type of the patchwork and godris and all that things. Kantha, and this is all the traditions craftsmanships. So it is also crucial, by integrating this element, others can create a business models that not only benefit the environmental but also contributes to the society positively, right? And Bunko Junko approaches includes partnering with the local communities to train, amplify artisans, promoting economic empowerment and preserving the traditional craftsmanship. Like this, so Bunko Junko works towards the woman empowerment and of course the artisans and all that things and mice. Um, Yes. So if they need any help or anything, they can connect me anytime.
That is lovely, lovely. From your experience as a business owner, as a creative professional, now this is something I would really like to know. Do you think that the market for a product line like this is still in its early days? Do you think, you are one of the early beginners, and you're catering to a niche, because do people even know about it, or do you see it scaling up in the near future?
Oh, this is really lovely question. When you ask for the fund to the venture capitalist or anyone, they said kitna kamaya hai, right? So there is a lots of challenging earlier days we have faced, but I believe you do the good, you will get the good things, right? So this is the for us. This is the important ki whatever the result is not about the money. It is about the impact. How much impact we have created, that is most important for me. Then the money comes secondly, right? But now you can see the demand, the Gen Z, Gen X, everyone is coming up with this understanding about the circularity, sustainability, eco products, and all that things. So yes, the market for the sustainability fashion is indeed expanding a lot. While it initiated a cater to niche audience, of course, there is a growing awareness and demand for eco-friendly and ethical products. Consumers are becoming more conscious, as I told you, they become more conscious about the environment and social issues, and which is driving the growth for the sustainable fashions. We are at the pivotal moment where sustainable fashion is poised to scale up slightly, significantly, with ongoing educations and advocacy. We also do the lots of the workshops with the design students and everyone, to help them to create a more sustainable, eco-friendly designs. And our goals is to scale Bunko Junko's model through strategic partnerships and market expansions, both locally and globally. By doing so, we aim to maximize our impact on reducing waste and carbon emissions, while promoting economic empowerment through fair employment practices and skill training for the artisans.
Bhavani, I have to say that your energy, passion, enthusiasm, all this is so infectious, and I love, the childlike enthusiasm in your voice. I really want to know, uh, where do you get your inspiration from? When was it that you fell in love with, environment and started really thinking about it, getting so concerned, almost made it your buddy?
Yeah, so I always love the challenges, and when I see that there is a two challenges our world is facing, then I said I need to do. Earlier, you won't believe, earlier I was not be able to speak English properly, but now I can. So I accept the challenges, whatever it can be, and this passion towards woman empowerment and so environment and all that things, this pushes me. I get up early at the 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and start working because I'm a solopreneur as of now, and so many challenges and so many things. But yes, I want this to create a more impact and take this Bunko Junko to the another level. That is my mission. So I request the young generation do join the Bunko Junko, and let's walk towards the greener path of the world together.
I really have to say, you're very, very inspiring, Bhavani. And I am sure anyone who's listening in right now would love to go and explore the entire range of Bunko Junko and get associated with it somehow. Also, start many versions of Bunko Junko as entrepreneurs. Thank you so much for inspiring us.
Thank you so much for giving this opportunity and letting the people know about the Bunko Junko and creating more and more awareness about the sustainability in the young generations. Thank you so much. So I request everyone, let's join together and be more sustainable, more creative, and create the sustainable greener world for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bhavani. From all that Shruti and Bhavani have told us, I'm going to look at my closet and at my clothes hangers and even in my suitcases to see what's really good for me and for the world. And I want your promise, dear listener, that you will do the same. But for the entrepreneurs, I think our guests today have just spread out a large canvas of possibilities. Can't wait to see what ideas you cut from the fabric to make fashion sustainable and eco-friendly. That's how Cool It Down will look cool and chic. Signing off from another episode and leaving you with loads of ideas and things to do, but with a promise to be back with many more climate connections, business ideas, and takeaways to cool it down. Make sure you check back soon.
Cool it down. Let's make it our business.